Today I'm here with two pedals from Vongon. The first one is called Onset, which was made in collaboration with Land Devices. Onset is an auto swell pedal that I think is pretty swell. The second pedal I have here is Paragraphs, also by Vongon. Onset's pretty simple. It has two sliders. The attack slider determines how long it takes for your notes to fade in, and the sensitivity slider can be adjusted as needed to determine which notes come through depending on how hard you're hitting your notes. The best way to use Onset is to combine it with other pedals, and the safest bet is to use a nice reverb after it. If you want to get real crazy, you can add a bit crusher and an arpeggiator after it. But my favorite way to use Onset is to add a nice shimmer reverb after it to make it sound like a pure synth. The first time I used Onset was when I visited JHS headquarters, and I totally stole this idea from Nick, who used Onset with pitchfork and an expression pedal to change the pitch as the note swelled in. This makes it sound kind of like a pedal steel. When I first plugged into Onset, I wasn't using it with any other effects pedals, and at first I wasn't sure if it was working because the harp in the room was so loud. I feel like Onset would work best in a studio setting or for a quieter instrument like the electric guitar, or for when you're amplifying at a longer distance. You know, making these videos can get a little stressful sometimes, so when I get really stressed out, I go to the pet store, I pet a bunch of animals, and last time I went, it's not weird to do that, it's fine. Last time I went to the pet store, I saw this really friendly bird who was like tapping on the glass saying hi to me, and I almost brought him home until I realized what a huge commitment that would be. So instead of bringing home a parakeet, I brought home a Paragraphs. And you might be wondering, what is this pedal? What does it do? Does all it do is make bird sounds? And the answer is yeah, that's all it does. Or just put it in your bird cage. You leave him alone. You can say you can pet him all you want, and you don't have to feed him. And he'll be your friend. He won't die. You can get it for your kids. Get it for your family. You don't have to explain the concept of death to them. Paragraphs is a really versatile filter pedal. And before I show you how to make those awesome bird sounds, I'll show you how the rest of the pedal works. The red knob on Paragraphs is the drive, which sounds great on its own, but I like to combine it with other overdrives. It's also really cool to use after pedals like a reverb. Now that we know how cool Paragraphs is, I want to talk about those bird sounds, if you want to make them. All you have to do is carefully turn the resonance knob up, and you'll hear some chirping. I know we've been joking about it, but really, if you're wondering how this would be useful, I like to send paragraphs through microcosm to turn one bird into a forest of birds and use that as kind of like a sound design element and then play harp over it. On top of that, I'm going to be playing my harp through the Vongon Ultrasheer for some nice reverb and vibrato. And on top of all of that, I'm going to be taking my electric Kalimba and running it through Onset. Thank you so much to Vongon for sending me Paragraphs and for sending me Ultrasheer. The Onset was actually sent to me by a very generous viewer here on the channel, and I'm super excited about it because I've wanted this pedal genuinely since I first saw it. So I'm really excited to explore more sounds with it and see how it, I don't know. My brain is gone. I don't know. It turned into bird food. Thank you so much. I love it.